All right, we're back. We're on page 99 of math analysis, and we're still using the 14 formulas. We're still doing stuff with them. This page is going to be about how we can rewrite some functions using them. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you one way, at least one way. There's a lot of ways you can do these. And if the way that you choose to do it gives you the same answer that I get, then it's good. So you don't even need to ask about it, really. But so let's see what we can do. So to me, I'm always looking for 14 formulas in these. So like I look at this and I see that we have a cosine squared minus a sine squared, and conveniently they have the same coefficient. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that coefficient out and say this is y equals 3 and cosine squared minus sine squared, and then plus 4. And then I know that cosine squared minus sine squared is the cosine of 2 times whatever you're dealing with, so 2 times x plus 4. And you could definitely graph that if you wanted to. So I'm going to stop that there. All right, let's look at the next one. Well, 9 and 18 have something in common. So like one way you might choose to start this problem is just factor that out, right? So I'm going to say y equals 9, make it 1 minus 2 sine squared. Well, 1 minus 2 sine squared is another form of the cosine of 2 times the thing you're dealing with, so 2x. Totally graphable, right? Amplitude is 9, period is pi, blah, blah, blah. Let's look at this. So is this like the same problem? Oh, it's like this, it's like it, but not it. All right, so how am I gonna do this? My goal, what am I gonna do? I don't know. My goal is to end up with, I would prefer to have 1 minus 2 sine squared, right? That's what I want to happen of, I guess, 3x. Like that's what I want because that'll be the cosine of twice whatever I'm dealing with. So it'll be the cosine of 6x. So I need to make that happen. The way that I'm going to make that happen because of the 4 is I'm going to break this up into 6 plus 2, which is 8, right? So this 6 plus 2 weirdness is just that 8. And then minus 4 sine squared of 3x. And then I'm going to keep the 6. I'm going to factor a 2 out of everything that's left. So I'm taking a 2 out of this to get 1, a 2 out of this to get negative 2. Gives me 1 minus 2 sine squared of 3x, which means that this is y equals 6 plus 2 cosine of 2 times whatever I'm dealing with, so 6x. And you could graph that. Sinusoidal axis is 6, up to, down to, period is pi over 3, so it's really small period, but whatever. All right, what do we want here? So I have cosine squared. The identity, so cosine of 2x, by the way, is like really common to see. Like it's not like I'm just throwing these out there all the time. I want to end up with something that looks like I need 2 cosine squared of 5x minus 1. Because if I had that, that would be the cosine of 2 times whatever I'm dealing with. So it'd be the cosine of 10x. That's my goal. I need to somehow make that happen. So what I can do is I'm gonna create the 2. I'm gonna make it 2 cosine squared. The way I'm gonna do that is I'm gonna multiply both sides by 2. 2y is gonna be, I'm gonna show you a second way to do this also, by the way, so don't worry about it. It's actually gonna be based on this, and it's probably easier, so I should probably just do it first, but I'm not going to. Get 2 cosine squared 5x, but then everything, so plus 8. Now I'm just going to subtract 1 from both sides. Get 2y minus 1, 2 cosine squared of 5x. I'm going to put the minus 1 here and then just say plus 8. So we did it. We made this show up here by doing it a step at a time. So the issue is I haven't like solved for y yet, but I did get cosine of 10x. And then plus 8. But now what I need to do is add 1 and divide by 2. So y is equal to, how am I going to write that? Cosine of 10x. I'm adding 1 and dividing by 2 to get that. And that's like a totally good answer. Now, an alternative approach would be, I'm going to use this color, right? So here, I'm going to solve that for cosine of 5x. So to do that, I'm going to, cosine squared of 5x. In my mind, I was like, what do I do with that square root? That's what happens sometimes when I'm doing these notes. Like, I'll pause for a second or I'll tell you a story. And the reason I'm doing that is my brain is like freaking out, like, you don't know how to do this. But I do. I'm going to add 1, divide by 2. So that'll give me cosine squared of 5x is the cosine of 10x plus 1 divided by 2. And then if that's the case, I can go over here, and where I see this, I can replace it with that. So let's do that. So this will give me y equals the quantity cosine of 10x plus 1 over 2, and then plus 4. And if you simplify that, you will get cosine of 10x plus 9 all over 2. So either way you choose to do it, it doesn't matter to me. This way that I did it here the second time is, I'm looking for something to circle this with or whatever. This right here, are you going to become a box? Nope, you're going to become a stupid point. Let me try one more time. Boxes are hard to get. Okay, but it's not in the right place. There we go. This is a power reducing formula. And what it does is it pretty obviously reduces the power. You go from squared to linear. And linear you can work with. Squared is a lot harder. Because like, what is going on with a squared thing? Let's take a look at, I think I'm gonna do the next two and then maybe cut this video and come back to the next one. I don't know. So again, our goal, always got to keep your eyes on the prize. So 2 ways to do it though. We're kind of looking for 2 cosine squared of 2x minus 1. If we can make that happen, that'll be the cosine of 2 times whatever we're dealing with, so 4x. And that's like not that bad to make. So here, I'm just going to multiply everything I see by 2. 2y is equal to 2 cosine squared of 2x minus 1. So then, I guess 2y equals, that's our cosine of 4x. And then therefore y is 1/2 the cosine of 4x. So what if you really like the power reducing formulas though? If you really like to power reduce, just come over here and say that cosine squared of 2x is the cosine of 4x plus 1 divided by 2. And then you go over here and you see this, and you're going to replace it with this. And when you do that, you're going to get y equals, so I'm going to rewrite it in like pieces this time. 4x over 2 plus 1/2, and then minus 1/2 from the original. So y equals cosine of 4x over 2, which is the same. So it doesn't matter which way you do it. And that's kind of like a neat part about these. There's a lot of different options. The power reducing formulas are super useful later on in life. It depends on what calculus you take, but I mean, in general, they're very useful. I'm going to change this into 2 times 2 sine cosine. And then as long as this is happening, this part that we have here is just sine of 2 times whatever we're dealing with. So this is y equals 2 sine of 2 times 3x, so 6x. And there you go. All right, I'm going to cut the video here. We did kind of a lot. I mean, you got to think about them. Try them different ways. See if you can come up with other ways to do them. I'm sure you can. And I will be back in the next video to keep going. So I will see you there.